in history where that is acceptable, right? But you don't ever see it the other way around. So I guess it just is that way.
Yeah, that's
for a
an
reason.
appeal to history, right? It's fallacious argumentation on its face. You're just appealing to how things used to be. You're not telling us why they should be that way now.
I'm saying they are that way because that's just the way that it is. It's fallen in line that way, and I think they're different.
Oh, it is what it is?
No, they're obviously
that
different.
Listen, it doesn't tell me anything to say to me. So let me give you some more history. Here's some great history as well. The West has stayed monogamous under some form of Catholicism for almost time immemorial. Catholicism made the demand that the West stay monogamous, meaning one man, one woman. Mm-hmm. So you were kind of appealing past even the identity of the West, which has mandated this basically forever, right? Wouldn't that be more of our history than the idea of having these kind of open relationships where you can just screw whoever you want?
I think that there's many successful couples that have, this has worked for them, and it's not whoever you want, it's maybe what you guys have defined is okay with both of you. So it's not just whoever. I mean, maybe some relationships are like that. They're just open to whoever. That wouldn't be something that I would be interested in.
Okay. So let me back up. I'm just going to make this as concise as I can because it's very evasive what's happening. I feel like you're doing everything you can to kind of duck the question. So I'm just going to be as blunt and concise as I can be. A man having sex with two women is different than a woman having sex with two men. How?
Well, are we talking about just strangers, or are we talking about a married couple?
Any couple. Or any variation of any configuration of couple you can possibly think of. How is this, what is the difference here?
Because I think, a man doesn't want to see, it's not desirable for a woman to be with multiple men, and a man wouldn't want to see that because they're naturally possessive and want what's theirs. But for a woman to share, I think, is different. Like a man does like that. That probably makes them feel really good and like wanted.
Then it would logically follow that if the idea is because this is what men like to see, that if a man would like to see his wife getting plowed by another man, what exactly could ever be your objection to that?
I'm not saying that. I'm just talking about my own personal preference. That can be a scenario that some couples are okay with, and I'm sure it is. It's not for me.
Okay, but you think, but I just want to make sure that we're totally clear. The only delineation point that you can see is how this isn't basically exactly the same thing in reverse, because that's exactly what it is in reverse. It's just that men prefer it not to be that way.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Does anybody agree or disagree with me?
Let's just move on.
Giovanni JD donated $100. If my wife went on a podcast with millions of viewers and talked about getting porked by some Z-list scumbags and his friends, I'd leave her so fast. If he sticks with you, he's a cuck and deserves you.
Oh.
I took some MILF.
I'm not sure how to respond to that. I think that's a fair point. I guess I don't totally disagree, but I don't know. I'm not entirely sure how to respond.
Mm-hmm.
Fair point.
Okay.
I guess. I don't know.
All right. Thank you, Giovanni.
Hillary Epstein donated $100. Is LA just a cesspool for degeneracy? Why are so many of girls sex workers or just scam men? Why is she mad about stripping? Your son should be ashamed.
That one really hurt. Yeah.
Do you want to respond?
Just, yeah, he might end up being, I really only care about what my kids think and nobody else really. So, maybe it wasn't the best decision to come on here. Like I said, I thought we might have talked about other things that I was more interested in talking about. But yeah, we have a very close bond, and he's getting older, and I'm sure he's going to realize, he has a hot mom. He's going to be getting into high school. That he's going to have to deal with a lot of stuff. So,
Took some MILF.
How is this not a political topic? This is a very hot political topic, in fact. You're talking about the discussion of traditional families, marriage, the structure of society itself. It couldn't be a more political topic. And so if you say on the politics front that you're okay with non-monogamous relationships where they're opened up to having other sexual partners, you are talking about the social order and the political order of society. I don't even understand why those would be distinct in your brain. What political topics did you want to talk about exactly?
Let's see. Gender roles a lot, I guess. It's the thing that we can't say the thing that the agenda.
What agenda?
Brian, the agenda. I can't say the.
Yeah, I don't want to talk
Okay.
about that.
All right, yeah. So things that nobody wants to talk about.
Wait, hold on. Are you talking like trans stuff?
Oh yeah, that stuff. Yeah.
You said, okay, I'll just say it. You said LGBTQ, but you would fuck a woman in a threesome?
Yeah, what
but
do
I'm
you
not-
mean? What are we
What?
talking about here?
Wait, you said, okay,
I'm
fine,
not
I'll just
bis-
say it.
I'm not
You wanted to
bisexual.
talk about LGBTQ, but you'll have a threesome.
Yeah, I said I didn't like the agenda. Like I don't like how it's being pushed in schools. I don't like how it's
So
everywhere.
that's not really within the purview of the podcast.
Oh, okay.
I'm not inclined to
Well,
talk
wait.
about it.
Well, what about the agenda would be wrong, right? It's like all you're doing is griping about same-sex people saying that it's perfectly acceptable for them to be engaged in same-sex activity, and yet here you're saying it's perfectly acceptable for you to be engaged in same-sex activity. Like I don't even understand what would even be the complaint.
It's not just saying accept that we like that. It's just putting shoving it down your throats. Like it's fine to do things like behind closed doors or to say I want equal, like to say I'm in a relationship, but with a woman, like great, but to have a parade and
Yo, this
do all
ain't the
that
podcast
stuff. Yeah.
for it.
Okay. All right.
I don't know why you would come on this podcast thinking that's what we're going to talk
Okay.
about.
I'm sorry.
It's
My
a
mistake.
dating podcast.
I know, but I noticed that those topics have come up before. So
I don't think that specific topic.
like the trans stuff, because you've had trans guests. So
Cooking?
No, we have.
That has nothing
we
at
have
all to do with
Gorlock.
homosexuality, just so you know. You can be a
It's
transgender person, not be a homosexual, correct?
yeah, but it's part of the letters. It's all the thing. But
Yeah, but you could just infinitely add on to that, right?
Right.
You can say whatever you want.
Yeah.
Could be added in addition to this, but it really has nothing to do ultimately. That just because that's a tagline doesn't actually mean anything, right?
Yeah. So moving things on, you said that you're very conservative politically, more liberal sexual dating viewpoints. You agree with a lot of what the host's opinions. You think something that you'd love to discuss is how people can change.
Yeah.
I certainly have over the years, and I feel the host and Chase more specifically, mind you, Chase has not been on in almost a year,
see,
are very dismissive to the thought of dating someone who may have a lot of experience but has truly changed. Yeah. So you're talking like a man who doesn't want to date a woman.
who may have done stuff like work in her past like that.
What's wrong with that?
Wait, you said work?
What would
Yeah.
actually be wrong with that?
No, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that I feel like, when I look back on being a vegan, for instance, I'm just like, that was the most annoying part of my life. Like, I was so annoying, like, just talking about it all the time, just trying to push it on people all the time. Like, you can really, really change. And, like, I think it should be more based off of who the person is now and what their opinions are now and their perspectives.
Sure.
If they can also be honest with you in a
Well,
personal one-on-one about their past and leave it up for you to decide. But instead of blanketly saying, no, I only
What's
want
wrong with that? I don't think there's anything wrong with a blanket, like if you ever did this in your past, I entirely disregard you, even if you are an amazing, fantastic
Yeah,
person
and-
today. Now, if you used to do OF or porn or strip, you can be saved, you can be redeemed.
Yes.
But men do not need to then disregard your past and go on to date you and marry you. These two things are compatible. Or do you think men are obliged to date redeemed women?
No, definitely not obliged to. But
Right.
there, I mean, if
I
that's
can-
a hard.
If a woman wears pink socks, I can reject her on that basis alone. I can reject a woman for any reason I want.
You can.
Just in the same way that women will reject men for a wide variety of
Right.
completely arbitrary and benign reasons. Men are allowed to do the same.
I agree, but
Yeah.
the woman with pink socks maybe is going to make you the best tacos that you've ever had in your life. So I'm just saying that you guys are closing yourselves off to possibility of some potentially really great qualities and really great experiences. That's all I'm
Right,
saying.
but it's a total incompatibility if here's my standard. I don't date women who are or have been involved in sex work. Don't care how fantastic she is. This is a boundary. This is a standard.
Okay.
She could conceivably be the most compatible and we would otherwise have a fantastic relationship. But on this basis alone, I refuse to even engage with her. Even knowing she could be fantastic,
Yeah.
it is just a deal breaker for me.
Yeah.
What's actually wrong with that?
Well, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm just
Right.
saying that it's a little closed-minded. Like
Why
I
is
get
it closed-minded?
It's just
I
that
would
you're being
never-
selective of what you're looking for.
You mean the
It's like,
same
don't
way
we
that
all-
women are
Yeah, we all
incredibly...
do it.
We all have our
We all do it.
standards.
I would
That's
never
your
date a
standards.
vegan,
Everyone's
and I would
Wait,
never date a
who's more
liberal.
picky, men or women?
Women, I think.
Well, y'all are super close-minded about all the things that you look for in a man.
We literally said that
Maybe you
earlier.
guys should consider dating a guy who's shorter. Maybe you should consider a guy who doesn't make X amount of money.
Well, that's what you said earlier. when you was
I
like,
would.
lower your
I would
standards.
totally
That's
do
not what I'm
that.
saying. I'm speaking in generalities.
Right. So, right. But I'm speaking like personally. I'm just saying you might be missing out on some amazing
Okay, but
women.
so like, you have to understand though. So, if you were engaged in this kind of work, regardless of how fantastic you are now, most men are not going to appreciate their future wife having nude photos of them on the internet. That's forever. You can't
Yeah.
take that back.
I
and then
agree.
your future children are not going to appreciate that too.
Yeah. That's why I would never have an OnlyFans. I just wouldn't do
But you
that.
said you did
But that was
girl on girl stuff.
right. That was different.
It's
time.
probably out there somewhere.
Yeah. And
Was it video or picture?
I was in a magazine.
It wasn't video?
Magazine of
There-
threesome? How's that possible?
Okay.
It's just
No,
pictured. Yeah, I
no,
don't
no,
think
no.
it would have been, like, out there.
That wasn't. The threesome conversation was something different.
But I mean, like, okay, so I just don't understand. Why is it like closed-minded?
Because it's closed-minded because you're dismissing an entire, like for instance, and there's lots of
So
okay.
what's wrong
yeah,
with
you can.
No, but
You
what
can
is
do that.
actually wrong with dismissing an entire cohort of people?
No, you totally can. I do that all the time. I don't like to date guys in California, so there we go.
But there's kind of an even worse entailment here. Like for instance, would you ever drink ayahuasca tea and then go naked kayaking with a group of strangers?
Osmosis 12 donated $100. Girl to girl, respect yourself. You might be frightened that a man will cheat, but any man okay with doing that does not love you and does not respect you and is the type to cheat. Threesome topic.
Yeah, we can back up to that, but like,
Thank you,
would you
Osmosis.
drink ayahuasca tea and
There's
then get
another
in a
one coming
kayak
in,
full of
just
naked
FYI.
strangers?
Probably wouldn't do that.
Yeah, probably not. But I mean, isn't that being closed-minded?
No, I've just said probably. I didn't say I would for sure never do that.
Oh, okay. Well, would you
I'm not
by
inclined
chance
to do it.
would you by chance go and get into a gangbang with 15 different guys
Absolutely
at the same
not.
time while it was being filmed?
Absolutely not, filmed or not.
Oh, well, wait. Aren't you being closed-minded?
No, I just said that's fine. You're right. I just said
Valuable
that's fine.
experiences.
I said that I
They're-
do. I
Wait,
said that I do that as
Would
well.
would you date a man who previously had sex with men?
No, absolutely not.
But he's bi. He's not
No.
gay. He's
No.
bi.
No.
So he is attracted to women.
No.
Well, that's very closed-minded of you.
I think girl on, girls with girls is different. Girls
Well, I'm not
can-
even making that argument. I'm
Okay,
just
good.
saying,
I
like,
think
that's
guy
in-
and guys, like,
it's in his
completely
past,
different
but
thing.
you could be missing out on a really fantastic.
Yeah, what about all the
Yeah, you're right.
experiences, right?
You're right. So I'm seeing where you're coming from. Absolutely not. Would never do that. Never.
Right.
So I get it. So
the-
that's a standard for me.
Well, this is what I mean is
Mm-hmm.
the idea, I would agree with you. There is all sorts of potential, I suppose, experiences or things that you could be missing out on.
Yeah.
But the thing is that why isn't that true of literally everything?
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it is. So
Could be. Oh, let the chats come in. I paused them temporarily. Yo, Hillary, thank you.
Hillary Epstein donated $100. Repent and regret are not the same thing. Your son watches. He knows. Admit you made a mistake and educate him and the sex workers in the audience of how it's a terrible idea. You can set an example.
yeah, I agree. It is a mistake, and I'm not naive enough to think that he's never going to find out. So, yeah, I think it is important, though, ladies, to think about your future families and things like that.
There's two more.
Hail
coming
and
in.
well met.
Thank you, Lol
Lol
Paladins.
Paladins donated $100.02. I refuse to date former murderers. I guess it just makes me close-minded. I might be missing out on some really great threesomes. Lady, you keep saying conservative. Do you even know the definition?
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Yes.
There's another one coming in. Lol Paladins, good to see you in the chat, man. Appreciate the TTS. TTS is
Avatar, what a great
100.
avatar.
Killer of Cereal donated $100.
Thank you, Kill of Cereal.
Get sun, get some. Stay hydrated, stay alive. Keep life in perspective, live within your means.
It's beautiful.
Work to earn your keep.
That's beautiful.
Never give up on yourself. Life is only as hard as you choose to make it.
I'm going to
Love.
kill of cereal. I'm going to